Hello everyone and welcome back to Crystal Reef County here on the sunny Atlantic coast of Florida. In the previous episode we built the majority of the downtown core of the main city of San Leon, and in this episode we'll continue expanding the core of the city with all sorts of mixed density developments in an attempt to meet some of the insane levels of demand for more workers. We also need to continue investing in more services throughout the city to ensure that we've got all that covered, while of course carefully managing our budget to avoid major deficits. Now, whether you're new or regular here on the channel, you are of course very welcome on board as we're building Crystal Reef County, Florida. Our last ode to Cities Skylines 1 and our ultimate attempt at building a realistic looking Florida themed county while only utilizing vanilla assets, decals and props. And of course, if you enjoy my content, liking and commenting goes a long way, and if you don't want to miss out on any future content, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification. Thank you. Alright, let's get going with the episode. So to start off with, we're actually off to a really strong start here in San Leon. We're turning a profit, which is alright. It's only a profit because we've done some heavy adjustment to our expenditures here in our budget to make sure that we're not overly stretching out and that we just have the coverage needed. If we look at our electricity, we actually produce more than double the amount we use, so we could adjust that further. And it's sort of the same for our water capacity. So things are looking pretty good financially. This doesn't mean that our city is without issues, because as you guys can probably see, several of the big employers of the city lack workers. So if we just pause here and have a look, we can see that Gold Woman Investments here on the corner of this major crossing of avenues has the capacity for about 560 high-paying jobs, but they've only been able to fill out about 60 positions so far, and that's obviously not great. If this is to continue, this would mean that we'd have a pretty large employer with high-paying jobs leaving the city, and we obviously don't want that. We're seeing sort of the same situation over here with this high-density commercial building. They have been unable to fill out their worker demands as well. And it's the case over here on this corner where we've got AT&T Mobile and they've not been able to fill out either. So we definitely need more people in our city, and if we look at our RCI meters, then that's the exact same story we're told here: high demand for residential zone. So that's gonna be the primary focus of this episode. We just need to expand, and we need to primarily add residential developments. Now, I don't want to switch to lower density developments already. There will be suburban style builds in the very near future, but for now we're going to continue expanding within the downtown core because this is an obvious chance for us to just grow the city more naturally, but also add high density residential developments. This area here, I've asked you guys for suggestions on what to build here, so we're going to leave that untouched for now. And what I want to start focusing on is this stretch of the waterfront here, where we have this massive block here that is almost completely empty. And we've got two big blocks here that are also pretty empty. These areas here are an obvious place for us to bump our population because this is this is a stretch of land where, due to the proximity to this awesome beach, the city and the developers and investors would prioritize condo towers and hotels and the likes. So I think the first thing we can do to just give a good bump to our population is to build out this block here, because I would want condo and apartment towers to flank this road in particular here, right next to the beach. Now do keep in mind that I'm playing with lots of mods, and many of them are an attempt to increase realism throughout the city. So when it comes to population, when I place a single family home such as this, what you will see is that it's actually single family. So it's only one household, where in vanilla, this is maybe like 4 or 5 households. This has a major impact on how my cities play out when I develop them, because I could add, I mean, if we build up this entire triangle here with suburban sprawl, so single family, you know, low density detached houses, you'd be surprised just how few people would actually live here. It might be a couple of thousand, it might be even fewer. And that's pretty realistic, and that's of course one of the major issues with suburban sprawl. It's that the actual density is very, very low and the footprint is massive. On the flip side though, when I build high density condo towers such as this one, the amount of households is going to be much, much higher than in vanilla to reflect the amount of people that actually live in towers like these. So that's a positive, you know. All the high density stuff I add will actually have lots of households, a much more realistic approximation of the amount of households. And that's why if we fill out this area with high density residential, we'll see quite a boost to our population. So it's definitely the first attack angle we're gonna take. So to keep in the Florida theme and try to make it look realistic, we're going to have a mix of high density residential buildings and some lower density commercial. And this might seem like an odd mix, but it's actually pretty common and pretty frequently seen in Florida. It's something I've utilized in some of the already established blocks as well. For instance, here we've got some pretty low density commercial stuff acting as like a base for these high rises, and then obviously here we've got the high rises that are much higher in density. But first up, we're gonna just remove commercial from our filtering, because what we really need to emphasize is just building up. We need more people, and to achieve that, we're gonna have to build some towers. Some of these, such as this one, are a little more run down. They have like a 70s or 80s vibe, which is perfect. I want that as well. And some are obviously going to be just a bit more fancy in their aesthetic. And I'll mix in just a few of these older buildings here from the Brooklyns and Queens pack, but I'll try to see if I can pick some that have like balconies out front, because I think something like this, for instance, is a good fit for this area due to, yeah, once again, the proximity to the water. So we're just gonna nestle that in right there. Got a beautiful building here I'd like to use as well. And now it's time to just nestle in a low density commercial building between these two. And we'll want one more that is more like a cafe of some sort. Perfect, because this is, you know, waterfront property, so naturally you'd want cafes and stuff out front here. We've got one more here. Great stuff. And we've got a building here we can just make nice and snug. Bring this back a bit. We've got some weird color schemes here, so I'm going to use our colorize mod here to just make everything a little more bright, at least if the color is really odd on some of the buildings, and they are. I like this kind of white theme for many of the buildings. I'm a big fan. So a building like this one could actually act as a base for a smaller tower of some sort. So I'm just gonna see if I can find, there's like a, or actually this one's kind of cool. So we could potentially just add this and bring it back ever so slightly and just like align it. There you go. Then back here, we are in Florida. We're going to need some parking. Luckily, we've got this parking now in the vanilla game that we can use. I've used the Bob mod to remove the planter that is automatically placed on each of the 4 corners of these parking lots, because I find that makes them a little more versatile to use. I don't want those planters, to be honest. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and make like place them a bit random, and then we'll fill in some buildings in between. So we're just gonna move this back a bit. Actually, no, let's have it go all the way out here to the road. And then I'd like to have a base of sorts once more, like a commercial base here. So basically a low density building with a big footprint that we can have a tower from. So if we place down this one, for instance, which is an awesome base, then we'll be able to find a tower of sort to rise from this base. Now this one is maybe a little too tall, but this one is actually fine. No, it's not. It's absolutely ugly. I don't know what I'm saying. We'll try something else. Maybe I think we could do with this building. It is very big, so it's going to stick out ever so slightly unless we just adjust the base. And this all depends on me being able to change the color here, make it brighter. We could. Okay. So that is a chunky one, 64 households. So that's like what I said, the realistic population mod drastically changes your high density stuff. So that's definitely something to just keep in mind. Especially if you retrofit that mod into an existing save file, then it goes without saying that you are going to see some drastic results with your population figures. So yeah, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So I'm just wondering if it makes sense to splice some of these. It doesn't. It's fine. We'll leave a bit of a gap there. So here I think I'm going to just bring back the buildings a bit and make like a small promenade out front. This looks to me like it's some pretty high-end shopping. And we'll just add one more building, I think, something like this. Then we can bring it back. Actually, let's just have a Fry Guys as well, so you can grab a good burger here. Then we'll go for something modern and tall. Too tall, but okay. See if we can grab maybe a bit smaller, actually. Something like this or this one. We'll go for the other one because it had the balconies that we want. We'll just align this really close here. It's very dark, so it's gonna need a bit of a change in color. I might use the Bob mod to remove some of all these plants that are attached to it, but I think for now it's okay. What we can do is we can just squeeze in some extra parking back here. It just looks nice, right, with all the parking enabled. So yeah, if we do like this, just bring it back to here, then we've got room here for, well, maybe just a small plaza even. Do we need a building or do it something low density? We'll grab this one. And is that what we want? No, it's not. if I want commercial here, it has to be in a wall-to-wall style. Maybe there's an office that would be a good fit. Although I need to be very careful with just adding offices because I don't have the workforce to actually work in the offices. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, yeah. We've got an empty lot here where we need to find something nice to just add. So it's very much wall-to-wall in this area. And we've got a corner lot here to fill out. Game non-stop. Purchase Cities Skylines 2. Oh my god, yes, please. 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 We'll align that building and we can leave a bit of room here. So let's just reduce the FOV just a bit. You guys know I love that, and we'll just have a look. We'll just assess how this block has turned out, and I am pretty happy with it. It's got that super weird mix of densities, very obvious mix of like building styles and different eras, and it's quite dense, but it's, I mean, I expect this whole coastline going all the way out here to be pretty dense, just due to the proximity to the beautiful beach. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this actually. I might remove this one, maybe replace it with this building, but I think for now we'll keep this building here in place, even though it's crazy ugly. I mean, that's one way to say it, right? Let's just do a quick intermission with some detailing before we move on. Sometimes I like to throw in all the details at the very end after placing all the buildings, but pretty often I'll have that itch of wanting to just detail it up a bit right now. And we'll just grab this apron here so that we can fill this out with pavement. And then we're of course gonna go ham on the trees. And we're going to line the parking here. We need some palms of some sort. Let's see if we can find some cool ones. I like these ones because they're kind of bendy boys. It's like they've been attacked by the wind or something. So I'll just add them at random in here, because I really want San Leon to be very, very lush. Lots of trees, lots of palms, just everywhere. And this is where I'll be adding some decals to create like a small pedestrianized area, basically. For now, we'll just add in a few palms here and there, just to add a little something. Trees just always help. They're like the magic recipe for everything, really covering up stuff. It's honestly, it's just the easiest way to make things look nicer. If you've got imperfections, you can use trees to just cover it up. Cool. We need a special decal here. We were talking about doing some sort of like a paved area of some sort. Just need to find the actual decal that we'd want to use. Maybe this light one. Let's see, this one here. It's probably good due to the heat to have a pretty light decal surface. We'll just align it a little roughly, like so. Cool. Then we'll add some benches. It's getting a little hard to see what's actually going on down here due to all the palms, but I mean, that really is a luxury problem, I suppose. We've got these pretty cool benches here. And we've got a different variation here that we can use. And yet another variation here. So I'm just adding these little randomly throughout. And there you go. We could add some signage as well to these buildings, but I am doubtful if we've actually got some cool signage. Maybe I mean, I have a coffee shop. Is that something we'd... I mean, why not? Why not? Why not? So let's say this is a burnt bean coffee. At least it houses that as well. Then we can have some chairs out front. Cool. And there are some different signs that we could use. I am a little doubtful though how relevant they are for like an upscale place like this. I'll try to add these hang around markers, but I don't know how successful they are at attracting people, because I don't use that in my modded series. I use like some workshop assets that are a lot better at just drawing in the people, so I don't know how well this is gonna work, but we'll see. Well, let's add a few trash cans as well. And I think that is gonna be it for this particular area. Let's just see if I can grab. I just noticed that some of the textures that I've placed down are kind of fighting for control, so I'll just move this out of the way. There you go. I think an interesting question is, how many people does an area like this on its own actually add to the city? So I'm just going to temporarily make it a tiny district of its own, and then we'll just see what kind of stats and metrics this area will actually have when it's filled out. Spruce Square. Very nice. Let's hit the play and see what happens. Alright, so let's just assess these numbers. So right off the bat, we've got almost 300 people living here, which is pretty good compared to like the size of this block. What's more interesting though is that there's like 40 households that aren't occupied yet, and it seems that we've primarily got adults without children. So hopefully, as this area progresses just in time, many of these adults will start having children, and those children will, of course, they'll be incorporated into existing households. You know, when citizens have a child, it doesn't require a separate household. So even, you know, in some time from now, even if there's still only 197 households occupied, hopefully the population is going to be larger because there's going to be many more children. So fingers crossed, please guys, have some babies. Now I just noticed we've got a bit of a traffic issue here at my custom intersection. Why do I have a traffic light here? Let's just grab traffic manager and seeing if I can actually disable it. Very nice. What we're also gonna do is just click the node here, and we're going to allow for cars to just continue here. and the same here. And then we're going to disable crossing because I would rather not have people attempt to cross here, because that's just gonna be absolutely lethal. I'll just see if I can connect the roads here as well, just to ensure that we don't have some funky, like, what are you guys? This is illegal. I don't care your car's yellow. It's not okay, man. Damn. There you go. This should help fix this all up. It's gonna create more pressure here, of course, but that's fine. That's to be expected. With that little traffic issue all sorted, as you guys can see, let's move over to this block here, which is very reminiscent of the one we just fixed up here in Spruce Square. I'm just keeping this district so we can check in later in the episode. I'm gonna remove it afterwards. That's a terrible name. We're going to remove the trees and we will start plopping. Now we've already got one hotel here, but I'm thinking that one more might be a good fit. It is a very, very nice location for something a little more fancy, such as this one. So I think maybe we should do like this. Just switch these around because this one is a little more fit for a corner lot, I feel. And our bulky gold beach can just stay here, preferably. We've got so many awesome hotels that we can use throughout this series. Yeah, it's gonna be really nice. Let's keep at it for now with just 2 on this lot, because that's also quite a lot. And we'll see if we can find some modern residential towers maybe to place here. So we've already got one of these over there, so we don't want that. But this one maybe. Don't I have a version with like balconies? I would really want balcony version. This one's very tall. This one is very modern and sleek. As is this one, obviously. I think I'm gonna place this one over here. It's a little too crazy for over here, I feel. And this one, however, I like, and I'm going to be plopping that as well. And then we'll just switch. Let's see. We'll keep bulky gold beach here. We'll move this one. Maybe we can switch these around so that this one occupies a corner lot. Like so, and this one is placed sort of in the middle here. I think that creates a bit more of an even look. I want some good bases for some of these buildings, so ideally I can actually kind of stitch these together, because they sort of have the same aesthetic. As you guys can see, they use almost the exact same color palette actually. So preferably I can just continue this, and then it really does look like this building here is integrated into the base of this complex, which would also allow me to raise it like so. And then to avoid this issue here on the backside, we would flip this around, place this building here, and then we can have like a pathway that goes straight through here. And you probably noticed I'm really winging this, but that's part of the fun for me. Don't like to do all that much pre-planning. I wanna challenge myself and just start building basically. So that's what I'm doing. Parking, of course. I mean, we need parking, right? So let's get some parking lots in here. Does it make sense to try and like squeeze in some more parking here maybe? Maybe yes. If I can adjust this. And I'll just bring this over a bit. Got some parking in here. Nice, I like that. I think I'm just going to extend. Can I add a node here? Great, and we'll extend that down here and just come all the way around. And then I'm going to use node controller in just a sec to make this a little smaller and more sleek. So we'll make the offset here smaller, but we are also going to reduce to like 80%. It looks a little odd. It's a little too bulky right now. There you go. I think that looks a lot better, and we can do the same with this node, obviously, and over here as well. And we can, let's see, rotate this segment so that it's much more flush over here. Great. Very happy with that. Oh yes. Now we are just gonna need some trees, of course. What else? One of these, one of these. We'll start adding in the flowers. And palm trees. What else? And we'll just use this type for now. Awesome. So we've got a big complex here that looks like it's, yeah, it looks like it's one complex. Then we've got another complex here with these bases, and overall, of course, a very, very high density level here. Although two of the buildings here are hotels, well, this is, I mean, strictly speaking, this is just a commercial asset because this is a hotel before the hotel's DLC. Bit of a shame. And it's the same with this. So they just have workers, but also visitors. Then we've got a tower here with 30 households, one with 55, and another one with 42. All right, so there are a few additional things I'd like to get done before we wrap up this episode. I'll say that I am very, very happy with how this whole area has turned out, and I really feel that this population bump was much needed. We are only getting started, of course, so there's a long way to go. But if we do check up on missing workers, we see that they have been able to occupy a few more of their jobs. The same thing over here, where they're nearing half occupancy of 50%. And yeah, more workers here as well. But there is still quite a bit of way to go, of course. Let's just catch up with Spruce Square. And yeah, what we see here, like I mentioned, the amount of households doesn't need to rise a lot, but we will still see the population rise quite a bit because these adults will have children, and that of course adds to the amount of people living within each household. So it's very nice to see that the Spruce Square, which is rather small, contains more than 400 people. If this was vanilla, vanilla population calculation without the realistic population mod, this area here would certainly have much fewer residents, while this area would have many more. So give and take, I guess. But yeah, very happy with how everything turned out. And I guess, as you guys can see from like this episode in particular and all the time-lapse footage, I really like to just select the buildings rather quickly without testing out too much stuff, and then just trying to get it to work with whatever I got. So I could, we could reiterate on this area again and again and again to get like the perfect fit. But I'm not too happy of letting perfect stand in the way of good enough, because we'll never get done if we do that. Like I said, a few more things to add. I'd like to add like very, very basic beach detailing here on this beautiful beach. So we're just gonna do like some very, very simple paths leading down to the beach. I'm gonna use this nature trail. It's not perfect, but I feel it's like the best fit we have, and it's gonna sort of flank this area here, which is gonna be a little more bushy. We'll bring it up here, and we'll just have like a few segments leading up to the street, and we'll have these like branches here that branch off and lead to the beach. So this is definitely an area where I feel a bit of the limitation. I would really like for like to have invisible paths at my disposal, because then we could just kind of customize this whole thing much more. But for now, I think this is okay. Like I said, we're aiming for very low detail as a start, and then I'm just going to add. That's massive. Just going to add some of these to really make this area feel very like overgrown. So we'll have lots of bushes and other good stuff in here. I love painting trees with trees, I guess is the better way of putting it. And I'm not even sure I would have tried this series if it weren't for all these pretty nice looking bushes and shrubs and whatnot that the vanilla game now ships with. Because I feel we actually get a look that is very, very nice. So I don't know how realistic this is, because we practically have a forest now that is right next to the beach. But maybe that's one of the very cool things about San Leon and this beach in particular. Something that makes it a bit more unique is that it's almost like an overgrown rainforest right next to the actual beach. Because I mean, I would really want to visit a place like this where they haven't really cleared all the nature to push the hotels right near the water, but instead they've let some of it or most of it stay actually. So yeah, going a little down here on the realism, but I think personally it looks a lot better like this, more interesting at least. And of course we need these palms as well, these squiggly boys. And then I think we're about covered. Cool, let's have a look. As always, we'll just reduce the field of view a bit. I feel everything looks a little better like that. Then we'll have a look at this, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Looks very, very lush. All the palms, the one palm too many, I guess. The beautiful beach, the high density riverfront here, or ocean front, whatever you'd call it. But yeah, you definitely have quite a view, right? If you live here, so that's nice. That's one all wrapped up. Something I want to get done in this episode as well, as I talked about at the beginning, we need to expand our services, and I don't think we have any what's it called, death care currently. No. So we are pretty screwed if we have, or not if, when we have our first death wave, because we don't have anything to actually handle this. So obviously we are going to need to place a crematorium of some sort. We got one here. Is there like a bigger crematorium in the game, or is that it? Seems like that it. Alternatively, we could of course just place down a cemetery. That could be a solution as well. I haven't really thought about a good place for it. So I think we'll start off with placing down a crematorium. We've already got a clinic over here, so maybe a crematorium right here is a good spot. We'll just try and place it here, and we'll kind of clip it into the health clinic. So I mean, that's very efficient, right? If you die during treatment, you can get cremated right next door. Yeah, very nice feature. That's definitely gonna lure in all the tourists. All right, so we've got that covered. And how much? 468 a week. 260. How is that so? How can that be that expensive? It's much more expensive to actually take care of people and, I mean, treat them with, high-tech treatments. That's a weird one. Anyways, I guess this is already completely lowered. We can lower it further, I guess. All right, whatever. That's very expensive. We need waste treatment as well, because we don't have anything that can handle our waste management. We've got this recycling center, which is a very, very cool asset. Or a waste restaurant. Nah, let's just go with this recycling center, and I want this to be placed within the industrial district here. I know we called it Riverbed, but we've also sort of agreed that you guys provide some nice suggestions, and I'll do my best to incorporate those. So I will go and scout comments and find one of the good suggestions you guys have made to name this. Don't worry. All right, let's just align this a bit. Do we need additional parking, or is this sufficient? I feel this is sufficient. Now we just need the shrubs. There you go. And we'll make this a bit more overgrown. Cool. So preferably we could have a few garbage trucks as props maybe. We've got a regular one, a biofuel, large, small. Guess we'll just pick the regular ones, to be honest. We'll just add a few throughout. One here by the garage, and then we can have like a special one parked somewhere as well. It looks very, very cool. There you go. So do we need like something for the entrance here, so that not everyone can just drive right in? Let's just add this prop. Looks cool. We'll go and find our good old dirt prop, because if this place doesn't warrant the use of a dirt decal, then no place does. And there we go. We've got some very, very simple garbage handling now. Cool. It's time to let downtown San Leon once again consume Spruce Square, so that we've got one single entity, and we'll have a look at obviously the entire population of the county actually lives in downtown San Leon right now, but as you guys can see, we've got our work cut out for us in the coming many episodes, because there's like 1,200 unoccupied jobs, but we've only got, I think we've got 200 households left, so some basic calculations. Much of the city is like young adults for now. They will have kids. Maybe we can reach like 4,000 population, 4,000, maybe like 4,000 with the current housing stock. But of course, that's only enough to, cover a bit more of the worker demand, but it's not nearly enough for it to be called an actual city. So yeah, really looking forward to us starting to really spread out, and I can't wait to dig into some of the suburbs, because I'm gonna try some pretty interesting stuff to transition densities. And I don't have a master plan. I never really do, as you guys know, but something I have been thinking about is that this road or this corridor that's gonna stretch all along the beach here is gonna be relatively high density. So think Miami Beach vibes, where you have a mixture of all densities, but the zoning lots that are right adjacent to the beach usually are upzoned for a higher density, so that it's gonna be, lots of hotels and apartments and condo towers, touristy institutions, bars and outdoor dining and stuff like that. So yeah, I can't wait to dig into that. And we kind of kickstarted it with the ocean front that we've built so far here in downtown. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. As we're wrapping up, I just want to once again, I know I sound like a broken record here, but I want to thank you guys so much for all the support, especially in this past month or so. It's been pretty crazy to be a part of this journey. So yeah, thank you guys. I'm really looking forward to exploring this series, to diving into Cities Skylines 2, and maybe even starting a new Cities Skylines 1 series before the game arrives. As I've said many times before, if you have any comments or feedback, please let me know down below. Specifically, we're trying to figure out what to actually develop here. I asked in the previous episode, but the question still stands. What are we gonna do with this prime downtown real estate location right next to a busy highway and railway? Anyways, I'm looking forward to you guys' suggestions. I was thinking a football stadium of a sort, like some major sports franchise. But we'll see. The space is a little tight, so we're gonna have to be creative with our parking solution if it's a stadium. So yeah, thank you for watching, liking, commenting, and of course subscribe and enable notifications if you don't want to miss out on future content. And you can check out my Patreon if you want early access to episodes such as this one. Thank you guys so much. Bye.